The commander for the ABZAN armor precon is Felothar, the Steadfast. She reads, each creature you control assigns combat damage equal to its toughness rather than its power. Creatures you control can attack as though they didn't have Defender. You can pay 3 mana to tap and sacrifice another creature, draw cards equal to the sacrificed creature's toughness, then discard cards equal to its power. So inside this precon, Felothar is what enables everything to function, because without Felothar, the creatures like this overgrown battlement that we have inside this deck that has 0 power and 4 toughness do just about nothing. With Felothar in play, I can deal 4 damage to my opponents with this 2 mana creature. So Felothar is absolutely necessary, and because that's the case, we need to get Felothar in play as quickly as possible. So whenever you play your decks, in your opening hand, I would prefer, and I think it would be best if you have any of these cards inside your opening hand. These cards allow you to ramp on turn 2 at minimum, so that by turn 3 you have enough mana to get your commander into play. The quicker you can get Felothar into play, the more important. This is going to be the first creature you should get into play every single game, unless you ramp with one of these creatures over here. But the thing is that you want to get Felothar in play so that as you start to play more creatures, you can pay the 3 mana to tap Felothar, to sacrifice that creature so that you can draw cards equal to its toughness and allow the deck to get moving. You really shouldn't be attacking with Felothar. You should be constantly sacrificing creatures over and over again so that you get to just continuously draw cards. And don't feel bad about sacrificing your creatures, because there are cards inside this deck like Beator, Ancestor's Voice, that allow you to get creatures from your graveyard back onto the battlefield. When you're playing this commander deck, I want you to feel like you're playing a mono red commander deck. Like you're trying to deal as much damage as you can as quickly as possible. The thing is that when we look at this commander deck over here, you're going to notice that there are 8 pieces of removal. This is it inside the deck. This is all the removal that exists. And to me, this is not a lot. So because that's the case, and I think it's by design, because remembering that Felothar allows our creatures with Defender to attack, and we're talking about 2 mana creatures here that have 5 toughness, so this creature would be attacking for 5 damage, flying lifelink for 4 damage, 5 damage, 4 damage. Like these will win a lot of fights. And the reason why that's important is because when we're dealing damage to our opponents, I want you to remember that your creatures kind of act as removal as well. If I force my opponents to block one of these creatures, more often than not, my creature is going to survive that combat. So just because the deck has a pretty average amount of removal doesn't mean that all of these cards over here can act as removal. So because we're playing this commander deck like it's a mono red commander deck, a lot of times as we're going to end our turn, our board state will look something like this because we've attacked. And because we have no blockers, it's going to allow our opponents to deal damage to us. But I want you to notice that a lot of the cards inside this deck have lifelink or some type of ability that's going to be passively gaining us life as we play our deck. So don't feel bad about your creatures being tapped or your opponent attacking you without any blockers, because we are the players that are going to be able to circumvent or at least take less damage because we're gaining more life. The deck even has cards like Rock's Faithmender, which allows us to double the amount of life gain that we receive as we gain life as well. So keep in mind, the deck really wants you to be aggressive and mitigate the damage we take because of our aggression through our life gain. So to recap everything that we've gone over so far, we're getting Felothar into play as quickly as possible. We're then playing creatures, sacrificing them to Felothar so we can draw cards. We're going to then play the cards that we're drawing into so that we amass a board state where we have a ton of creatures with high toughness that we're attacking our opponents with. Making sure that we're ending our turns tapped out so that our opponent's attacking into us, And while they're attacking into us, we're still going to be gaining life, so we don't necessarily care that we're taking that damage. And that's important because if our opponents are attacking into us, that means that they are tapped out just like we are tapped out. And the reason that's important is because this deck also has the ability to alpha strike our opponents. Alpha striking our opponents means that out of nowhere, we're going to deal a lot of damage to our opponents and remove them from the game. So imagine that we're attacking with our opponents and then we cast a tower defense and then all of our creatures do an extra 5 damage. Each creature does an extra 5 damage. Or we can sacrifice a creature with Defender to give our creatures trample in case they do have blockers. We can make our creatures unblockable with Sidar. Balden will buff our creatures based on the amount of cards we have in our hand, and then behind the scenes also gives our creatures Skulk and essentially makes our creatures unblockable. So if they did have blockers, they're not going to be able to stop our creatures from attacking into them. So because we've been attacking the entirety of the game, when we do have these moments where we do go for alpha strikes, our opponent's life totals will be lower, so that as we attack them with unblockable or buffed damage, it puts them in a place where they're just not going to have enough health to withstand these attacks. Keeping in mind, guys, that our creatures are going to... So the last tip is always to play test your commander decks, which means you're going to sit down, you're going to draw 7 cards, and you're going to pretend like you're playing against a group of people, so you learn the synergies inside this deck, so that as you go out and play against your friends or other people, you know exactly what your deck is doing and you can maximize the amount of fun you can have, because you'll feel like you have a chance of winning, okay? If you like this video, remember to like the video and subscribe. If you'd like to play a game of Commander against me, you can either challenge me in the comment section below or enter my Discord, and inside the Discord, you can go ahead and challenge me under the challenge tab. And if you'd like to join me during a live stream, the link to my Twitch is in the description below as well, okay? Always remember, everybody, eat healthy, all right? Work out every single day. Most importantly, you guys can remember to believe in yourself, all right? Peace out, people.